You had a big room.
You did, you really did something, actually.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you? How are you?
Okay. For some reason today, everything decided that it didn't want to work. So.
Thank you.
So currently you all have to look at my face, which I'm sorry about that. Oh. All right, I'm crossing my fingers that we'll have enough chairs. I know that, Izzy said he would be late, and I believe Carol has to leave early, so if possible, we'll have a little switcheroonie. But we will all do the best we can do. Okay. We have four, I cannot count.
Yes, sir.
We have seven. All right. And Asia's on the phone. Okay.
I will follow the rules of order. First thing we gotta do is prove the lies, and it's great. We're caught up at least, I think.
Yes, it's just July.
Okay, go ahead, motion,
Motion.
Melissa, and second.
Second.
Please. My job's done. Oh, all in favor? Yeah, my job. Your promises. I would say.
Nancy, that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Asia, are you raising your hand or not raising your hand?
I can raise it or just take it off mute. Either one, I.
Whatever works for you. Okay, welcome to September. We actually have lots of fun things to talk about. The first fun one is that the IRS has approved our 501c3 designation. They asked us to add a particular paragraph into our articles of incorporation related to the dissolution of the entity, should it ever be necessary. Joey, do you have any particular details that the group would need to hear about that?
Not really, no, I mean, essentially, the amendment that, is being proposed today, for the board to vote on. Is related to the dissolution status, so the IRS had requested, just where if the entity ever dissolved. Through either voluntary purposes or involuntary purposes, where the, essentially assets and liabilities would then fall. In the bylaws, it states it would revert back to the city, just as most local authorities would do. So, that's what's being asked of you today is essentially to vote on the amendment to the certificate of incorporation to include some language related to, the dissolution of the organization.
Any questions, thoughts on that? More details that you might want?
That's pretty standard, basically.
Yes,
Yeah, for sure.
it's very.
Like I said, it's already mentioned in the bylaws that the organization, if it were to dissolve, goes back to the city. This is just an extra step of now the certificate of incorporation, which was filed December 18th, 2023, which that's essentially the date that the organization was formed, right? So and that piece of that certificate, I should say, was filed in the state, so this is just updating that certificate to include the dissolution.
Any questions? All right, can I get a motion to approve that? And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Yeah, we're good. All right,
All right,
Iris 10.
we like that. All right, so that will be finished and sent off to the state, and then we will be all set. But now we can all talk about it being officially a nonprofit organization, which is a long time coming, so congratulations to everybody. The audit is just about done. This morning I received a couple of random questions from the accounting department on behalf of the auditor. I think our plan had been that the audit committee would meet in September to review the audit, and then in October, the audit committee would say, yes, it's fine, and the group would vote. I will double check the timing from accounting, whether that is still feasible. So for the couple of you offhand, I don't remember which of you are my auditors. But I will be reaching out once I have a better sense and we can meet, review the information, and then either present it at October's meeting or present it at November's meeting.
It's Latasha and Laura.
Okay, so I know where you work. It'll be easy to get a hold of. So that will be happening, but it won't happen at the pace that maybe we would have wanted. Asia, did you want to give the financial update other than the audit?
Yes, I have it up.
Great.
So, Extra Project, they took their draw of $5,050.75 in June. And then House of Mercy, August draw was $878.17. And then RRRS was $8,250. So we still have available $104,838. So Extra Project, House of Mercy, and RRS still has some fundings remaining. Any questions?
How much do they have remaining individually?
So individually is 1 second. Go back.
I think it's at the bottom of that chart.
It is. I'm just making it bigger so I can see it because this laptop is really small. Okay, so Extra Project has $24,949.25 left. House of Mercy has $29,121.83 left. And then RRRS has $21,750 left.
And how long do they have to expend it?
That
Yeah, it's a full year and each of them are slightly different, but generally through March.
Okay.
And then I will sort of add on to that and move into, we actually have some project updates that I did not have in our July meeting that I'm excited to tell everybody. So let's see. Our old project, Community Place, is at 79 households assisted. Baden Street is at 113. Legal aid, which they're done, it was 133 households. And Habitat, which I think we said in our July meeting, but I can't remember, they assisted 22 households. You may recall that both Community Place and Baden Street got extensions, so they still have a bit of money left and they still have some folks that they will be assisting. I haven't received draws, and those would not go against the 104 that Asia was talking about. So let me see here. Rochester Refugee, in their first quarter, they mostly did backup work. They did a lot of research on the cultures that the households that they were going to be assisting might be coming from. They selected as many households as they could. Let me see. 7 households have been enrolled in the program. Venezuelan, Congolese, and Afghani households, kind of a good mix. And then they started working. I anticipate maybe not in time for, hopefully by our October meeting, we would have the next quarter's update from them. Any questions on that one? House of Mercy, which if you could see from Asia's report, they drew down the smallest amount as yet. They found that it's going a little slower than they hoped it would to kind of get the ball rolling on the repair portion. We've been working together to kind of get them in touch with First Front Door and other, housing providers who might have vacant units that might need repairs. But so they're kind of just in process.
And if I'm remembering right, there were repairs that are being done in the house, right?
I believe, yes, they are doing them. And they're supposed to be kind of small scale. Just to bring the mostly rooms up to better standards. And then Esther Project, we were kind of figuring out a lot of things, but as of now, their goal was to support 75 households with furniture throughout the year, as well as 100 other agencies. So, single folks or single households versus an agency coming to get. And as of the end of August, they have supported 35 households and 64 agencies. And then they have a sort of secondary, kind of more intensive activity that they have not had any households at that as of yet. But they have had the most in draws as they get themselves going. Questions, comments, thoughts?
I just have a quick question.
Yep.
Hi, Daniela Rivera. I'm with Flips, project manager with Flips, and this is the first time I've heard of Esther Project. So I'm just curious how we can connect potential participants that I haven't, the programs that I'm working with Esther Housing.
The Esther Project, actually, she was very happy to tell me that I guess Rochester Business Journal just did a feature on them. So you may want to Google that, because I'm not sure I can list the very giant, lengthy email address. Yeah, it's in the Rochester Business Journal. And if you want to reach out to me directly, at the info at RHSF City of Rochester, I can get you that person's information.
Great information. Thank you.
Okay. The other item that I had on our agenda, or our thoughts, was updating the application. Somebody in the office helped me kind of turn our paragraphs of, please describe this, this, and that into almost question lines. We haven't finished doing that. So when that's done, I will send that out, but I think we may be close to just being able to put that on the website and start talking it up, that if entities are eager to assist or to, you know, get small scale funding. I still think we wanna talk further about how much we direct traffic versus how much we let agencies out in the world direct us. Because I think what we have seen is that if we direct traffic a lot, then we only get what we ask for, but if we don't direct traffic at all, then we haven't really received much. Or we get things that are really just not overlapping with the mission. So what I was thinking is if each of you would, and it doesn't have to be right this minute, I hate to be put on the spot, but within a week, if each of you maybe thought of one or more things that you would love to see our money pay for, you know, send that to me and we could maybe put, right now we have examples, we can beef up the examples section and just say, you know, this is not required, here are a number of areas, or we can bring those back together. If I get a ton of them, we may bring that back to our October meeting and talk through, are all of these what we want to put in there, or should we filter it some way? But like I know, you know, moving expenses was one that has come up, or, you know, pet. I feel like it was one of the board members, it might have been more, it might have been somebody else who suggested, you know, pet support for folks who are moving. You know, whatever some burning thoughts are, like, hey, this is a gap, we should be thinking about this. You know, repairs for owners, whatever it might be. And then maybe we'll sort of, again, find a way to walk that line.
Leah would like, sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Would like rental application fees be something that we would pay for?
Oh, I think that's worth discussing, because my initial thought is, well, of course, and then my next question is, no, because I don't want to encourage housing providers to charge them if they don't have to, right? I can feel like, Carol, you brought that up at one of our meetings this spring, where I think we had talked about ways to make tenants going through certain programs more desirable. And you pointed out that if we do it for this small group, then some housing providers might take advantage of that. But yeah, throw it out there, Asian, we can all kind of rate and rank and figure out how to describe it in a way that does not allow somebody to take advantage of that.
You've got a comment from Sarah.
Okay,
Okay, thank
Oh.
you.
let's see. So background check fees. So currently, right, remember, Sarah, that this organization does not pay anything to anyone, it's all awards to other agencies. So if you had an organization that wanted to apply for a fund to do that, that would be, that makes it sound like we take forever. We do take forever. But, you know, Janice Jones cannot apply to the RHSF for specific assistance, but as an idea, yes.
That I'm interested, just interested to ask Sarah, who's asking for the background check fee? Is that our landlord?
Can you guys hear me? Sometimes I have trouble in this location. Okay. So this woman and her two teenage children, one is considered an adult because he's 19. They're in a homeless shelter and they are registered, you know, through the continuum of care, but they aren't high enough on the list to get assistance with a background check with the landlord. And the funds that she does get, she is paying towards her stay at the shelter. And so she doesn't have the $40 to try to apply for housing. So I reached out to a number of resources that I knew, and this doesn't seem to be something that people can get help with. So I think in my mind, the money should go to the landlord, you know, that she would be applying to. And I did ask if the landlord would forgive those fees given this household circumstances, and I was told no. Now, there's plenty of landlords who don't charge for that background check, but this is a situation where she was stuck in a shelter since June, can't quite get all the assistance she needs, doesn't have the funds to barely pay for her basic necessities, let alone $40 to shell out for a background check. And she may or may not even qualify for that housing that she's interested in. And so she'd be out $40 with no housing, or
Is it-
potentially out $40 with housing.
Is it a background check or is it just an application fee?
She described it as the background check. So it's $20 for each adult in the household, which, as I understand, is legally acceptable for a landlord to ask for no more than $20.
Before their house, they can do that?
For like a credit check, and I'm not sure if this particular landlord does a credit check as well. I'm not sure.
Before even offering them housing?
Yeah. It's
Yes.
it's part of the application.
And I did reach out, like I said, I did reach out with the listing agent, said she didn't have the authority to forgive that fee. And I even gave her some background on why I was asking, but she said she could not.
Well, we can put it on.
That's a new thing. Yeah, it's a new thing on my radar. I hadn't been asked that before, but it's kind of a good point.
It sounds like some advocacy needs to happen at the state level, because I just don't think people should have to pay background check fees if they're not even being offered housing. Like, I get it if the landlord actually has a place that they're willing to rent them, and that's part of renting them a place, but not as part of the application process. That's crazy.
Darrell, did you
Oh,
still
yes.
have your bit?
So are we able to use social media to ask people if they have any ideas or an organization in mind?
I think we've had some of this conversation, a different variety of this conversation before, where yes, but we also have to then be willing to hear many things that are unpleasant. Since once you open the doors, it's harder to filter. But I would say that part of the responsibility of the board, right, is to figure out any way you feel good about keeping your ear to the ground about what is out there that isn't being met. So, you know, you could just say, hey, I'm interested to know, or you could say, I'm on the board of an organization that's trying to figure those out. The RHSF does not have social media right now, so it cannot, meaning me, I cannot go out onto the interwebs and do a thing, but that I don't think there's any reason you couldn't.
Yeah, as a board member, right? To at least what she had stated that you want to. Just, I'm on a board that's interested in X, Y, Z, this is what we're looking for. But yeah, I think, you know, there's other different policy considerations that the board itself would need to probably adhere to if it got its own social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever.
Thank you.
All right.
One of the things that we want to consider is for as groups that assist potential tenants to support housing. What do they see as a real need to put for more different houses?
Right, like what we've heard from Baden Street and,
Yeah, community place, CCSI.
yeah,
Any organization that helps to provide secure housing. This seems to be a real better.
Yeah. And I do think that we wanna continue to ensure that it isn't just tenants on the brink of homelessness, although that is, of course, a giant need. You know, but theoretically, we want to be supporting people at all levels of housing stability to move to the next level, and what barriers there might be to that. I know that's part of why we funded, you know, Habitat to do critical repairs to owner occupied. Theoretically, they're stable, but you know, when you have a totally broken window, it was not really housing quality. So, yeah, just sort of have that percolate for the next week or two, and, you know, send me out some thoughts. And we'll go from there. I don't have anything else on my list, so we can call this a day, or we can continue to talk through, you know, inner workings of any other things. But I don't need to hold you just because we said we'd have the room for an hour. Right,
No one's gonna argue with that. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second,
Okay.
all in favor? Anyone wanna stay?
I will talk forever to anybody, but I'm sure nobody wants that. All right,
Sorry.
all right, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Leah.